Tech Cocktail Conversations, candid insights from startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders from around the globe.
We started out a year ago with this concept of trying to promote community over product. And the thought process was that the individual startups from the Vegas tech community would have a much bigger impact. And South by Southwest is a great festival. It's one of my favorite conferences. But we felt that as a community, if we rallied together, we'd have a deeper impact and more sustainable efforts. So what happened, started out as 30 people in my hotel room, turned into over 140 people now here from the Vegas tech community. What started out as an idea of 30 people in my hotel room has turned into a $350,000 production, all promoting Vegas tech. We've got a trade show booth, we've got a cocktail hour, we've got trade show for 5 or 6 days, and of course South by Southwest, right? We're doing the Vegas tech party. It's really crazy to see how it's all turned out. Well, I think personally, for me, it's exciting, right? Being somebody who's been in Vegas for 10 years and who's never stayed anywhere besides Vegas more than 2, I think personally, I think it's a great thing for the city, but I think it's also a validation of the Vegas tech community in general. I think people are starting to recognize what we are building. And obviously, we have some great successes, right? We've got Rob Roy and Switch, and we've got Tony Hsieh and Zappos, and these are big companies doing amazing things, and Downtown Project's incredible. But there's also a startup culture that's very, very burgeoning right now, and I think by an organization as big as South by Southwest looking at Vegas and saying we need to do a conference there, to me personally, that's validation, right? That what we're building in the Vegas tech community is legit, and people need to take a look at it. V2V has multiple monikers. I mean, it's Visionaries to Vegas, Venture to Vegas, so it's these kind of evolving moniker that you can use. But I think people that should attend are South by Southwest attendees or people that are in the creative space. It doesn't necessarily have to be isolated to tech. It can be creatives, artists, entrepreneurs alike. I think the intriguing thing to me about V2V is we wanted it purposely to be a smaller size where it could be more focused on the creative side and to create that more serendipitous interaction between people that are in the fight in entrepreneurism and trying to figure things out. Oh man, I'm Tony Hsieh, keynote, man. I mean, that's the opening keynote for V2V. It's gonna be huge. I mean, if you don't know if you haven't heard, obviously everybody's heard of Zappos, but if you haven't heard of Downtown Project, it's a $350 million investment into downtown Las Vegas to revitalize it. But it's a bottom-up approach to building community as opposed to top-down. Being in Vegas for a long time, I've seen government and I've seen other entities try and do these revitalization efforts, and they've all failed flat eventually. The difference here is it's a bottom-up approach. Tony and Downtown Project are investing in people and ideas as much as they are product, and I think that's where the real benefit's going to come. So I mean, him being the opening keynote, I mean, that's going to set it off. It's going to be an amazing time. So in April of 2011, about 13 people met at the Beat Coffee House just to co-work. It was one of these things that just started out like, hey, let's get together and work on a project. A year later in 2012, we had over 250 people at the anniversary. And now every Thursday night we meet, and what had happened though over that time was we needed a way to communicate, and so Twitter was obviously popular, so we used the hashtag VegasTech, and that was kind of like our thing, and that's how we communicated on Twitter. But it's so powerful how we communicate with that hashtag that's actually, even here at South by Southwest, our logo, right, is the Vegas Tech hashtag, right? I mean, you see it on the shirt, right? Vegas Tech hashtag. That is our logo because that's our calling card. It's almost like our rallying cry. And, I think that even that is being validated and being nation #1. Vegas Tech was the #1 trending hashtag yesterday at South by Southwest. So, and we were crushing it. I mean, that's because we rally as a community. We've got over 100 people back home literally sitting by computers helping us out retweeting the Vegas Tech South by Southwest hashtags. I mean, we've built this army to help promote the Vegas Tech community because we believe in what we're doing. The end-all goal, I think, is just consider Vegas. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a startup, you're looking for a sense of community, you're looking to build product, just consider Vegas. We're not expecting everybody to move to Vegas after visiting the VegasTech activation here at South by Southwest. We're just asking you to consider Vegas. Come through, hang out with Downtown Podcast, hang out with some of the local startups, go to a tech jelly, meet people in the community, and if you end up staying, we'll welcome you with open arms, right? But if you end up moving somewhere else, that's okay too, because it's still good for our community, right? We still have hotel revenues, gaming revenues, local economies getting fed when you're eating at their restaurants. So it's a win-win for the Vegas community in general. But those that stay, hey, you're more than welcome. And if you don't stay, just come back and visit.